باي باي
يلا مع السلامة.
Toodles! It's a 5-ounce juicy show to stop the week. Drew Barrymore is getting attacked by a social justice warrior, accusing her of racism for dancing in the rain. It is by far one of the most insane videos I've ever seen, so buckle up for that. This A-list singer allegedly fired dancers on her tour because she didn't like their astrology signs. Shia LaBeouf announced he's converted to Catholicism after studying for the Padre Pio movie. Then we'll wrap up with me answering questions from you for Pop Quiz. I'm Alex Clark, and this is POPlitics. You're still here? Wasn't sure anyone would show back up after listening to the new episode of The Spillover. Well, for those that listen to hear an alternative point of view, even if you disagreed, thank you. And an unforgettable conversation about IVF, surrogacy, gay adoption, and no-fault divorce with children's rights activist Katie Faust is available on The Spillover anywhere you get your podcasts. There's so much stupid stuff from the left that we see on a daily basis, but I really think this social justice warrior accusing Drew Barrymore of racism for her overjoyed, emotional video she posted a while back of herself dancing in the rain has to be the most bizarre thing ever. Nothing she says makes the slightest bit of sense. This word salad you're about to witness is so elaborate, even Panera Bread declined adding it to their menu.
You and I both know that you are capable of enjoying the rain and frolicking freely without filming it and then posting it to TikTok. Now, you've just co-signed, okay? You've just co-signed at least 3 million, 8.5 by 11 front and back people who just go out of their way to disrespect and dismiss the boundaries that Black creators have set. And now you're one of those people. So I guess my question would be, why? Why is it so important to all of you to treat us like we don't matter?
Did any of that make sense to you?
No, it did not.
No.
Is she saying white women are not allowed to be happy on TikTok? Is she saying Black women don't like to get their hair wet and would never do this, so it's racist that a white woman is doing it and enjoying it? Or maybe a Black person once posted a TikTok dancing in the rain, and so by Drew Barrymore doing it, she's just jumping on a Black-only trend? Like, I don't know! Can we all now admit that these people have talked crazy for a few years now?
Ollie? It's gonna rain!
I know, as a white person, I try to get my hair wet as much as possible just to prove my superiority to other races. Drew was definitely trying to think of creative ways to suppress Black people when she posted this video celebrating the small joys of life.
It's raining sideways!
Sounds rough, Ollie. Do you have an umbrella?
Had one!
Where is it?
Inside out 2 miles away!
Remember Heather Morris on Glee? She played Brittany.
Did you know that dolphins are just gay sharks?
Before Glee, she worked as a professional dancer for many years, and she went on comedian Justin Martingale's podcast and dropped a bomb about Jennifer Lopez. Justin Martindale, by the way, is freaking hysterical, and if you don't know or follow him, you should.
From Glee.
If you were to play a character on Glee, what would it be?
The janitor.
The
I think
janitor?
it'd be like I think I'd be, or I don't know.
Well, okay, I like the janitor because it's great for you. I think it fits. But like, what would your song be? I know it's kind of on the spot, but if
It
there
would
was
be
a
the
song...
janitor who's been cheated on.
Oh.
So, because I'd have my janitor keys, and I'd be like, I dug my keys into the side of his
So,
pretty
yeah.
little souped-up four-wheel.
She told him that J-Lo walked into the room after a long day of auditions and said, "Thank you so much. You guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you just raise your hand?" That's when Heather claimed Lopez then whispered something to her assistant and told the dancers who were Virgos, "Thank you so much for coming," revealing they had to leave after a full day of auditioning for Jennifer Lopez.
I want you to get your ass out of my face.
I will continue to say on this show that Jennifer Lopez seems like one of the meanest, most narcissistic stars ever. The down-to-earth, Jenny from the block persona has always been a fraud. I have never liked her, and I don't care if Pluto is in Lemonade or whatever the heck it's called. This is reprehensible behavior if true.
I heard Mercury is in retrograde. I don't know what it means, but everybody's talking about it, so it can't be good.
TBH, the farmhouse-style wedding in 2022 was a big red flag that she is a monster! Shia LaBeouf has had a rough last couple years. Horrific allegations of abuse, weird outbursts. The man's been going through it.
I had some hiccups.
So it really surprised me that he converted to Catholicism while living in a monastery. He went there to study for his upcoming role as Saint Padre Pio, but it's probably a good thing he went to a holy place because he was in a very dark place due to all his recent scandals. He sat down to do a tell-all interview with Bishop Robert Barron in a 90-minute whole ordeal, and it's pretty good.
And at the time of my life, like, I didn't want to swim anymore. I had a gun on the table. I was out of here. I didn't want to be alive anymore when all of this happened, okay? Shame like I had never experienced before. Kind of shame, you forget how to breathe. You don't know where to go. You can't go outside to get like a taco. Like, you don't want to go anywhere.
And that's where you are when you're up there reading the gospel and thinking about the playing Padre Pio. You're in that state.
Yes, but I'm also in this this deep desire to hold on.
Yeah.
He goes into a lot of detail about how he believes this movie opened his eyes and saved his life. But in summary, he said, "It was seeing other people who have sinned beyond anything I could ever conceptualize, also being found in Christ, that made me feel like, oh, that gives me hope. I started hearing experiences of other depraved people who had found their way in this, and it made me feel like I had permission." It's always interesting to me when actors make life changes based on a role they play. I wonder if he will stay Catholic and keep his life on track going forward.
I'm about to start crying. I feel like I'm on Touched by an Angel right now. Look.
Oh, there it goes.
On Mondays, I answer your questions. Submit anytime through the link in our bio. This is called Pop Quiz, but do we like that name or should we rename it Cinnamony Monday? Let me know. Okay, Pop Quiz time. Caitlin from Texas asked, after speaking with all of these doctors on the spillover, has it convinced you to start examining, purging, removing products and food from your life that aren't good for you? If so, where did you start? I started with the groceries I was buying mostly and making sure that they were organic and things like that. As far as body wash, I'm just using what I have until it runs out and then I'll get new things. I also switched to completely organic feminine care products like Garnu. I'm happy with my skincare and makeup. I don't plan on changing that. I like what I like. I don't care. I did stop buying plastic water bottles though, and I threw out the one nonstick pan that I had.
It's young and beautiful and healthy, and that's what we want. Okay.
Elaine from Connecticut asked, my sister and brother-in-law are changing their 3-year-old's pronouns and dressing him like a girl. How do I handle this with my little kids? I do not envy you having to go through this situation. Maybe I would say to your sister that you love your nephew, that won't change, but just like she is parenting the way that she wants to, you also have to be able to parent the way you want to, which means not encouraging your children to lie and use incorrect pronouns. So I'd say it's then up to her discretion if she wants your families and children to have a relationship. And you know what? Just disclaimer, if this is horrible advice, I apologize, but everyone feel free to drop your 2 cents for her on what you would do. Mari from Washington said, what were your best and worst jobs before POPlitics? My best job before POPlitics was my first morning radio show job in Louisville, Kentucky on the Ben Davis and Kelly Kay show. It's just the most iconic magic in a bottle that we had. If you were there and you heard it, then you heard it and experienced it, but if not, I feel bad for you. I adored them, I still do. I had the time of my life on that job. Every morning was a party and I laughed till I cried almost daily. I tried to think of the worst job I ever had, but honestly, I've always liked what I've done. It's just been managers at certain companies that have made it good or bad. But everyone's favorite story is that when I was a hostess in high school, my very first job, my boss sharded and had to go home.
I think I gotta, pass a little gas here. So I'm walking by myself, who's gonna know? Only a little something extra came out.
You pooped in your pants.
I pooped my pants.
I told you this was a really good show today. Good story selection. That isn't always the case depending on the news of the day. Like or thumbs up this episode if you liked it too. And seriously, leave advice for Elaine on what you would do if your sister was trying to transition her 3-year-old and all that jazz. Was Drew Barrymore dancing in the rain racist, or is that woman insane? I'm pretty sure I know what you're gonna say. And do you think Shia's Catholic conversion is the real deal, or is he just hardcore method acting? DM this episode to someone random who's conservative you know and tell them, hey, I thought you would enjoy this episode, and click the save button. POPlitics is back same time tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It's pop culture without the propaganda every single day. I'm Alex Clark, and this is POPlitics.
Clearly, POPlitics is best served visually, but you can also listen to POPlitics if you just want the audio. Subscribe to us anywhere you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, and more. Also, make sure that if you are listening to the podcast version, you leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget, subscribe to POPlitics on YouTube.